Welcome back to Les Schwab Tire Center's Outdoor GPS, presented by Fisherman's Marine and Outdoor.
Welcome back, everyone. We're joined by Jack Glass, owner-operator of Team Hookup Guide Service, the other half of the team. Well, he's over someplace much warmer and sunnier and probably doing some fishing of some kind. But Jack, we're here in the Northwest. We're getting rained on. You're chasing steelhead this morning. He's already given you a bit of a little insider thing, and I hope what you learned there when he's talking about fishing those bigger beads is that those steelhead absolutely love them. But I know there's other ways that you like to go after steelhead, Jack, with your clients. This week I spent some time doing some back trolling, got bit a couple of times doing that. Have you been doing anything like that, or are you just sticking strictly with bobbers and beads?
No, we have. I have been back trolling, especially earlier this week. You know, a couple of mornings were 20, 28, 27 degrees. It was too dang cold to be casting, so we back troll and sit by the heater. So, yes, we've been catching some fish. I think we hooked 4 the last 3 days back trolling. So we're hooking some fish doing that, too. Always a very effective technique. And then sometimes I have clients that casting isn't the best idea. It's better to troll, and so I'll do that. But overall, casting's been our #1 technique.
Well, okay, well, I can tell by your client behind, over your shoulder there, he's like, yeah, I might have some trouble casting every so often, too. I doubt that, man. You got the best gear in the world out there. You're able to go after it the right way. All right, so as you start going forward, it's the 9th of March. For folks that are watching that might not be so keyed in on spring Chinook, how long do you foresee this fishery lasting now that we're getting another extra shot of rain this week?
Well, I don't think it's going to be enough to upset the Columbia or change that. The clarity should be good. My main concern is the smelt go away, and maybe some of the sea lions will leave too. The clarity should be okay, and I'm a big herring troller, and I use the triangle, fish flash. I like those early in the year when the water's still going to be 40. Right now, it's 41.9 here on the Sandy. Columbia's going to be about the same. So I do like herring and the triangle fish flash, and I use the short bus ones too. You know, I use a couple of different colors, and I use a typical 4-foot leader with a cut plug herring. And when I'm in the Columbia, I do use my herring. I put anise on it a lot early in the season. Anise seemed to be a pretty good scent they like on the herring, and we troll it fairly close to the bottom, downstream. And at high tide, sometimes I go side to side at high tide. The fish seem to bite it pretty good going cross current if the current's not very strong. If it's strong current, you're better to go with the current, or sometimes I'll even turn and face the current and hover sometimes. That works too. If you're thinking you're in an area where there's some fish around, hover and hold there. A lot of people anchor fish. I don't, but you can anchor fish and put those herring out, and a spring Chinook bite those at an anchor position if you got them off the bottom.
Yeah, no, that's a great tip, too, because I think that gets overlooked quite a bit. All right, well, let's stick with the springer a little bit. So when you do start chasing springers towards the end of this month, what zone would you recommend spending your time in? Would it be below I-5, above I-5, down by Sauvie Island? Where would you spend your time early on in that season?
For myself, because I'm mooring a boat down below, I'm going to be fishing the Richfield area quite a bit, just because of convenience. That's where the boat's sitting at the dock. So I'll be moored down there, and I'll work that area. But I'll run up to, say, Davis Bar and fish all the way down to Kalama. Could be anywhere in that zone. What depth are we looking at? I like anywhere from 16 to 26 feet of water. Most of the time, I'll get deeper after midday, sun's out, a lot of boats racing around. I'll go out into 30 and 40 feet of water, but early in the morning, I like starting shallow. On the sand, trolling downstream, 16 feet of water. If there's nobody around, that's dynamite. That works.
Well, and I think you just nailed it right on the head. I mean, you got to go where the fish are going to be, and that's certainly something that you need to, have some time on the water to figure out, or just take the advice from Jack and work your way out deeper as things start to get crowded. All right.
Or they come out and buy a seat.
Say that again?
They need to come out and buy a seat.
Yeah, okay, well, that's one of my, we always try to get that in there. Here's Jack's website for Team Hookup Guide Service. If you get the opportunity to get out there with them, we couldn't recommend them higher. But how's it looking for you? Are you booked up already? Or you got some room or what?
I've got a little room that first week of April still. I got like 2 or 3 days there. I'm quite confident they'll fill. I'm not too worried about it, but I do have a little room right there in that first part of April where it's going to be open.
Yeah, well, it closes on the 5th, so you're not going to get much time in that first week for the Columbia. Of course,
Correct.
Making the gear change and heading over to the Willamette is obviously going to be the way to go. What are your thoughts? We've talked quite a bit about this here in the last couple of weeks, but about herring and then making the change to, say, a super bait or a spinning fish or something like that. What are your thoughts on when you make that change from herring bait to a hard bait? When do you, is it a temperature thing? Is it a timing thing? What is it for you that makes you make that change?
It's a good question, Owen. I like it as the water starts to warm up some more. It'll get up to that 48, 49 degrees. Boy, super bait and spin fish is on. That works really good. They like that. They still bite herring. And you can also anchor and start fishing your flatfish. That works really good. When that water warms a little bit, they go after the plastic hard lures really well. And I use those a lot. And then I stuff tuna in them, of course, and the tuna bloodline stuff. You know, there's a lot of things you can do. But yeah, hard plastics when it's 48, 49 degrees, even 46. But that's when they bite those really good.
Do you foresee yourself fishing any of those baits on the Columbia before it closes, or are you going to stick with herring the majority of the time?
I'll see how it goes first. We'll see how it goes, and then if it's still full of smelt out there, I would change to those hard baits. You bet, because they're not going to eat the smelt herring as well, but they'll bite a plastic.
That's a bit of good advice, because everyone, if you last year's perfect example, catching springers, when all those smelt were in the system, you cut them open as you're processing them, filleting them, and they were full of smelt. That is not an advantage for a salmon angler. It is certainly not something that you want to see. It does slow things down. Throw something different at them as opposed to what they might be finding along the bottom of the river. Okay, so last question. You're going to go out, you're going to chase some walleye, you're going to come back, you're going to chase steelhead. For those, again, that are watching that are going to be continuing to go after steelhead, what do you think? Another couple, 3 weeks? And then maybe start switching gears, or what's your thought there?
Yeah, through March is good for steelhead, absolutely. Early April is good at the Oregon coast for steelhead. Some rivers still got quite a few in early April, but I just, when salmon comes, we get the salmon bug.
Yep.
By April, you got to be fishing salmon because people will be catching some.
Yeah.
So it's time to get going, and then pick up steelhead again when the summer run starts coming.
Yeah, and that's not too far away. I can't believe it already. It's the middle of March, Jack. It's amazing how time flies, and also how fast our segments go by. Jack, thank you for spending some time with us this morning. I know that it was quite a bit of effort, and you got some help from your clients back there. So for everyone in the boat, thank you very much for helping out. But Jack, thank you, sir. We appreciate it. Good luck. Be safe, and we'll be checking in with you during the spring Chinook season, okay?
Do that. We're going to be catching them.
Let's hope so. I know that I'm going to be trying my hardest. Jack, take care. Thank you, sir. That's Jack Glass from Team Hookup Guide Service, and he was gracious enough to give us some of his time this morning while he's out there chasing some steelhead. All right, we're going to cut to a break. When we come back, we're going to have your Chevy Silverado Tech Tip of the Week. We're going to talk about these stuffer baits, right? Super baits, spinning fish, all of those, rigging, and how to store them so that you don't ruin them. We'll be back with that in just a minute.
Outdoor GPS is brought to you by Yakima Bait, steeped in tradition, innovation, and fishing success. And by Procure Bait Sense, ruthlessly effective.